Hey everybody, it's Rob here. We got the full Season 7 Uniques and Legendary aspects here coming into the game on December 3rd onto the PTR. There is a ton of exciting stuff, especially for Barbarian. We also have a blog post about it. We also have all the powers here that we're gonna have as Witchcraft powers, and some parts of the planner are already updated, and I'm super excited for this. So let's jump in real quick. The first item we're going to look at is the Mantle of the Mountain's Fury. This one is basically going to be a big buff to Hoda and Earthquake, and we can combine those two. So you get up to 5 Hoda ranks. If you have a greater affix, it's 7, and then you can masterwork this. This is going to give you like 10 to 12 Hoda ranks if fully masterworked. Also a chance for Earthquakes to deal double damage. Hammer of the Ancients also forms a seismic line that deals its damage and slows enemies by 80% for 4 seconds. Earthquakes it passes through now explode for their total damage and are consumed. So this basically allows you, with Hammer of the Ancients, to trigger your Earthquakes, essentially like the Jade Harvester Witch Dog. You basically do this like dot damage that an Earthquake has, and you deal it immediately to all the enemies. And you have a ton of multipliers to basically buff those durations of those Earthquakes and get the dots higher, because they also did release some new aspects, like here Earthquakes an extra 55, and there's also a Ground Stomp unique here that a Ground Stomp aspect here that got buffed as well to now 55%. So this is still the old version, but it now 55 and even more damage with those Earthquakes. So I think there's going to be a cool playstyle here with this one. Unfortunately, we don't have the footage on the PTR. We will test it out, and I'm going to link that planner below. I'm definitely going to be cooking an Earthquake Barbarian. That's going to be super cool. Then for the Sorcerer, an all-time favorite build is going to make a comeback. You might remember this Ball Lightning. It's now getting an unique focus here that basically makes the Ball Lightning into a projectile. It's not orbiting you, but it's shooting the enemy, and then after it shot the enemy, it's spreading into AoE here. So that's going to be a cool and a fun build, I believe. There's also another one that is still the orbiting playstyle that also makes it a lot stronger, and you basically have to choose one of these focuses. But the playstyle is really cool. Ball Lightning, again here, is one of the fan favorite builds, and really cool to see these rock with Ball Lightning again. So I'm looking forward to those builds going forward. Then we have the Druid here getting a big buff with the Amulet here to Lupin's Ferocity. And this basically is a key passive that gets a big buff here, a 2.5x. Alongside of this, Druid is getting a ton of buffs to Shred. So you guys can see here, the aspect of the Blurred Beast is getting a buff, and it's doing more damage based on how much distance you travel with your Shred. So not only do you get the Lupin's Ferocity key passive unique, you also get the according aspects here with a big buff, and Shred is one of my all-time favorite builds with Blurred Beast back in Season 2 when we played it. So really looking forward to be testing this one out already in about 10 days on the PTR come December 3rd. So that's going to be a ton of fun here. Shred Druid eating good. Then we have a Necromancer Uniques here. There's also video footage of this. Unfortunately, on the Barb, the first one, there wasn't really any footage yet. So this here is the Necromancer Blood Wave. It basically forms a wave, and then those waves merge together to create a big explosion and also pull in all the enemies here. And blood builds are getting a ton of support with more overpower damage. So you're getting like a big multiplier. I think there's a 2.5x aspect here for the legacy pants here. And blood builds and overpower builds are already pretty strong, and they are getting even more powerful. So that is very, very cool to see on the Necromancer here. Then we also have the Rogue Unique here, basically allowing you to have mobility skills, and those trigger Shadow Imbuements. They also shot a video here of this, and this looks to be a very cool speed build you can play with Shadow Step and basically just melt the enemies, and auto-proc additional shadow imbuements here for some crazy AoE damage. So rogues are eating very good as well. And then we talked about the sorcerer uniques here. And then this one is one of the more interesting ones. This here is the quarterstaff. This is one of the spiritborn uniques. Now there are a lot of spiritborn nerfs coming here, which is basically revolving around the Rod of Kepaleke going from, I'm going to make this full screen, the Rod of Kepaleke going from 3 to 0.5%. So that's like a damage nerf of like quite significant. And they also fixed the multiple bugs here with Viscous Shield, with double dipping, penta dipping. And but on top of this, there's a new alternative coming to this Rod of Kepaleke. And that is the new stuff here that is called the Wa Crozier, which has the unique effect, your focus skill benefit from all the upgrades, and they increase the damage of your potency skills by up to 200%. And there are already, if you're looking at the skill tree here, there are already a ton of very strong potency multipliers here, like Vehemence is buffing your potency skills. And we already seen some of the payback builds, some of the Razor Wings builds. I think this is basically going to be the main Razor Wing DPS weapon that we're going to be focusing on. So the Razor Wing build is already extremely powerful now. It's going to have these like Razor Wings swirl around you. And I can't wait to, you know, jump into this and basically use this as a potency skill. So this is going to be a big multiplier. You're also getting extra ranks basically to all your focus skills. So this is like all your focus skills up here. So you're already using those anyways. Like you're using Ravager, and that Ravager is basically getting like all the runes here. Also, you're getting all the runes on Vortex. And if you're using Soar, you're also getting all the upgrades on Vortex. You're getting ranks to those skills. They can deal double damage for potency. So this basically is very close to, you know, what the Rod of Kepaleke is doing anyways. Like they have the chance for the core skills to it twice, and this is potency skills to deal double damage. So this is going to be a very crazy weapon. Triple damage, and then if you masterwork the potency, you're going to get about another double damage with this. Plus they have really good stats. So I'm looking forward to try some Razor Wing builds. I'm going to be cooking some of those as well. And those are going to be a ton of fun. And then they're basically listed, I'm going to link this below here, like all the new aspects here. They're having a big focus on the ultimates. The ultimates are basically getting a new bonus at rank 5. And I'm really curious, you know, what Hammer of the Ancient, what Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients new abilities or new bonuses will be. We don't know these bonuses yet. Hopefully we know them soon. But at rank 5, we're getting a ton of juice here. And there's going to be new support items, aspects, and also paragons as well as passives for those ultimates. And there's here a first generic multiplier, 1.3x multiplicative damage after casting an ultimate skill. This will work for anything. It's going to last for 8 seconds, and you also get ultimate skill ranks. And if you have 1 point basic to unlock the ultimate, you're already going to have this new rank 5 effect here. We will see on the PTR. I'll make a video about all the ultimates with all the rank 5 effects, but I hope it's going to be something really cool, some really nice bonuses. Very much looking forward to that one. Then also here, this directly buffs your ultimate. So there's already a couple of strong ultimates in the game, and maybe we can even make like a Call of the Ancients build with this, because this is a pretty big multiplier. It's a 2.8 multiplier. And then we have the Barb Earthquake aspects. We talked about this. We have Hurricane buffs. I think this is also on the Druid again. I think this one is going to be extremely powerful because Hurricane is already one of the top Druid builds, doing like Pit 110, I think. So look at this. Basically, all your summon wolves are also getting a Hurricane proc around them with the aspect of the Wolves' Reign. And that is looking like it has a lot of potential, especially if you can stack them up on a target like a boss, and they have like 5 wolves, 5 hurricanes, and then there's your hurricane. So that's gonna be exciting, man. Basically like double damage, and 8 seconds those wolves have your hurricane. That's gonna be a very cool effect. We have Electrifying Calls doing some lightning damage. Distilled Eminia, this is like Soul Rifts. They have some buffs for this one as well. A Bone Duster aspect with Bone Spear finally getting some juice. We've only seen so many Bone Spirit builds. Now Bone Spear is eating good again. Twisting Blades is going to get a new aspect. We're going to have one here for Shadow Imbuement. Sorcerer here is getting one with Pyromancy. However, I think Sorcerer overall got a bit of a nerf because they did nerf some of the burning effects on the Firebolt. They did nerf the Devouring Blaze. So I'm not really quite sure why they are, like, in my opinion, nerfing the Sorc. We'll see how that's going to play out on the PTR. And then we mentioned the Razor Wing build combined with the Spiritborn Unique here. So I think it's going to be a very nice aspect here with Razor Wings. And they really want this to be a build. And we're going to try the Razor Wings some more. I have the setup already built. And this is one of the first things we're going to try on the PTR. Triple damage on the weapon. And a ton of cool aspects, and it's going to be a very, very nice playstyle. I think the only negative is that Razor Wing has like a cap. You can only have, I believe, 12 Razor Wings out at the same time. So that's a little bit of a downside for the build. But overall, it's going to be pretty strong in my opinion. And then we also have, so this is just bare bones, guys. In the planner and also in the blog post, they talk about like all the seasonal powers here. Like they have a full list. And they basically got heavily inspired by the Season 2 theme. This is basically going to be vampiric powers, but they have some cool effects, and I'm really looking forward to see some more of them in action. I think we also have some footage here about these powers. I don't know if I can find them like that quickly. But yeah, basically there's going to be a ton of these occultist witchcraft powers here that do certain things, and you are like fighting different enemies here. And you can kind of see here, like this is for example the Doom Orb in action. It's like floating around you, doing some good DPS. They don't really like buff your damage directly, and you can only have one of those unique witch powers active at the same time. So you want to be a bit careful which one of those you use. You need to choose wisely. But you can see they're like auto-seeking the target. This one is the Vengeful Spirit that is like basically swirling around you. It actually looks pretty funny. And if we can scale these with like some generic multipliers, I'm feeling pretty confident that it's going to do a ton of damage. These are like one of my favorite ones. This is the Piranado, like a Piranha Swarm. Also reminds me of Diablo 3. And this is going to pixel pull in the enemies and also deals a ton of damage. So there's definitely a couple of cool powers here. You saw that pixel pull here? So the swarm comes in and flip it. I think it's actually the entire screen. Look at this. There's going to be some enemies down here. Whoop. They all fly in, and then they can all be killed, like with a Hoda, with an Earthquake, or with whatever you want to do, a Quill Volley. But it's going to be mainly played on builds that don't necessarily pull. So Spiritborn already has Vortex, and there's certainly a couple of other builds that benefit a lot from this. We're going to probably make a dedicated video talking about the seasonal theme. But then you can basically support these with these different power upgrades. And one of them I want to highlight here is the Aura Specialization. So right now here I'm going to link this planner below. Currently, I'm speccing Piranado, and we're using the Aura Specialization. And for example, this is a crit build. This is a Hoda Quake Barb for Season 7. This has like the new aspects, and it also has the new Dust Stones here. Again, the planner is going to be below. We're still updating this when the PTR comes. But it basically increases the aura size, and at rank 10. So there's a progression system. You will basically be able to level this. You guys can see here, this is rank 3 out of 5. So you have to level them. We don't know exactly how yet, but we'll figure it out pretty easily. And on the PTI, you have a boost available to just get the rank 10 effects. And this one is increasing your crit damage, and hopefully this is a multiplier. But it says a 50% against enemies inside your auras. And like there's a ton of cool buffs. This one here gives 10 crit chance, so this one gives 50 crit damage, 10 crit chance. This one here is pulling in enemies. And I think there's one that has a ton of maximum life. One of them has a lot of dot damage. This one here is basically a small mythic unique, the mythic polearm here. At higher ranks, enemies are stunned, are being hit, And there's one here that executes here. When you damage enemies with overtime effects that exceed 85% of the target's total health, they immediately get executed. So you can like check these out here. Obviously, we're going to get an icon once we can have these icons and stuff all in the planner. This is very much work in progress. It's just very bare bones, but you have a lot of the new stuff here already. And I think it's going to be a very exciting theme. However, like they definitely did copy paste like from some of the cool and positive themes. So we also gonna basically have the vampiric powers coming back. They're just called Witchcraft. We're gonna have the Helltide from season 2 coming back. Now it's gonna be a green Helltide. This is gonna be called the Headhunt, where you basically get juiced up whispers, and you also Grim Favors and Whispers with the tree. They're also upgrading the town where the Tree of Whispers is to be like a full town with like, you know, all the mercenaries and all the vendors that you need. And you can also favorite that town, and it's going to be a ton of fun. But it basically is exactly what season 2 was. And then this is basically what season 1 was in a way, the Malignant Hearts. And these occult gems you can find in these headhunt zones. So this is going to be the reward for going in this green Helltide. And you're getting these, and you can socket these only in your jewelry. So they only go in your rings and in your amulets. So if you're looking at the build here, obviously we don't know all of them yet. But for example, this one here, for each of your auras and hexes. So for example, this one is an aura specialization, right? So this one is going to give you 4% multiplicative damage taken that the enemies take more, right? So you can hex the enemies, you can have a bunch of auras. And if you're stacking like some of those auras, you are going to get basically a ton of damage out of these, or you're getting other cool effects here like movement speed and crit chance, or you're getting additional multiplier to hexed enemies. And we'll see, we can only full cook the builds once we know all these powers come PTR on December 3rd. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of this, guys. We're going to be playing the PTR for about 3 days of Diablo 4, and then Path of Exile 2 is launching here. And they have a ton of stuff that we still have to learn. For example, this is their skill tree. And we're already starting the Path of Exile PhD. We're going to be investing some hours to learn the game, because it's going to get somewhat complicated. This is just the passive tree with over 1,500 nodes. But I'm looking forward to jump in. I think the PoE community is awesome. And I think we're going to have a ton of fun in Diablo 4 and in Path of Exile 2. I'm gonna be excited, guys. This is gonna be an amazing rest of the year to be an ARPG enjoyer. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon here with some PTR updates and some footage for Path of Exile 2 right after. Let's go. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.